Tauruses, do not let anybody rain on your parade in July. Let's have an aligned astro chat about it. Shalom all, I'm Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to Aligned Astro Chat. This is your transformational tarot as part of my Black Feather Couture Divining a VIP Life series. And I'm so excited to be tapping into this July energy for you. So we are going to have an overarching theme from the Sweet Ass Affirmations deck, and then I've chosen the Slavic Legends Tarot for you guys this month. This was the one that was speaking to me. This is by Taroteka. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, so let's pull that Sweet Ass Affirmation. Okay, this is the one that's talking to you. Interesting. I rage up Mount Crushmore 24/7, 365. I feel like what this card is indicating is, and these look like little Ewoks to me. If you're a Star Wars fan at all, you'll appreciate that. I feel like what this is referring to is this is a month where there is going to be a lot of work and effort to get where it is that you want to get to, but it's almost like I'm hearing the energy of don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it. So when we talk about raging up, I feel like this is focusing your rage, focusing your frustration, focusing your energy, things. I feel like, again, don't let anyone rain on your parade. I feel like this is a month where you're going to have some, not setbacks, but you're going to have some experiences that maybe aren't working, all that well, or they're not going exactly the way you want them to go. And there's some frustration around that. So I'm just going to add a little light to the subject. Oh, that's too much. So I'm still working out all of my, my studio and recording and lighting, and it's just so much fun. Every day it's something new. So the raging up, I feel like this is a message to really focus your energy. We see on this card, actually, I'll hold it up so that you guys can see it better. Here's the little hiker with his little flag. There's another hiker here with his flag. So we got a red flag and a blue flag. And I feel like victory is upon you. Victory is at hand. Victory is definitely a potential and a possibility for you this month. But I feel like you have to kind of tune out the rest of the world. You have to tune out, tuning out other people's opinions, other people's viewpoint on, whether or not they think you're going in the right direction. I feel like the rage that you're feeling, maybe the impotence that you're feeling at this time is really going to be best channeled through your actions. And Tauruses, not to say that, you all struggle to take action. That's not true in the least. But I want to say right now, the struggle for you is in feeling like, what is the right action for me to take? And I feel like it's not about asking that question. It's about saying, how do I feel right now in this moment? Let me use it to fuel the fire for where it is that I want to go and grow. And now let's dive in here and find out where you're at in the present moment. Where are you right now in your transformational journey? What part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? Ooh, the Knight of Coins. Okay. Yes, this makes a lot of sense with what I was tapping into here with the I Rage Up, Mount Rushmore 24/7, 365. I feel like what's transpiring here is that you are in that holding pattern. The Knight of Coins or the Knight of Pentacles is a knight that you can rely on, but he's not going to be the first one out the gate. He's not going to be the first one in the fight with you. He's the one that's going to stop and smell the roses. You're going to give him the task to go and get the resources that you need. And, you think it's going to take him an hour and he comes back 5 hours later and you're like, dude, I thought you forgot about us. I feel in many ways when we're looking at this Knight of Coins energy, this is where you're feeling a bit stuck. You're kind of like, all right, I know I have a task. I know I have a goal. I know that I'm going to reach it eventually. I just literally have no idea how to go about it, how to get things started, how to keep moving on something that I've already begun, something that I've already established. And I feel like even though this is where you're at right now, this is not where you want to stay. It's not healthy for you at this time to want to stay here. And yes, I feel that there is some concern, some trepidation, some fear around, again, making the right choice or making the right call. I want to say, let that go, take that fear, and instead of being paralyzed by it or causing you to, take a break, to, have the horse pause in the meadow, I feel like right now it's about action. So instead of taking that break, it's taking that energy and using it as fuel, directing that energy and saying, okay, if I've got fear around this, let me use that fear to do some research. Let me use that fear to take one small step that I know I can take right now without having to think about it in order to get a little further ahead on my goal. So you want to, in many ways, release this Knight of Coins. You want to, even though that's where you're at right now, you want to understand that I can't stay here and get to where it is that I want to be, because the rage is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. The confusion, the frustration, the feeling stuck is going to just continue to expand. And that's not what I want. I'd rather be in flow 24/7, 365. I'd rather be moving towards something. Sometimes it's fun to stop and smell the roses and to, to languish in luxury. But that's not what this time is about for you. That's not what this time needs to be. That's not what you need at this time. So I feel like the Knight of Coins is kind of working against you. It's an invitation to dissolve that fear of stuckness and to say instead, okay, Knight of Coins, it's time for us to light a fire under our horse's ass. We need to get going. This is no longer productive. It's no longer helping us out. What's your catalyst? What's fueling or hindering your transformation? And is this resistance or rocket fuel? Page of Cups. How interesting. You're getting a knight and you're getting a page. So you're already getting these royalty cards. I feel like you're questioning your sovereignty. Maybe holding yourself back on a particular journey or a particular goal, because pages, this is a beautiful card. The Page of Cups is the card of creativity. Nothing wrong with that. What I'm seeing here is the Page of Cups is actually kind of holding you back. It's not fuel forward. This isn't inspiration to help you move forward. I feel like this is what you've been sitting in. You've been sitting in this meadow of beautiful creativity. You've created a lot of little things that are absolutely pleasant and wonderful and lovely, and you created for the sake of creating, and all of that is wonderful, but it's not really where you want to be. It's not really getting you to where you want to go. And I feel like the Page of Cups is the hindrance. Not to say that you're going to cut out creativity, but it's to say, I'm making little things. I'm in the meadow killing time. I'm deferring and deflecting. I'm delaying myself because ultimately the rage is so big and I'm afraid that that rage might consume me. And I don't really know how to approach that. So instead, I'm just going to do all of this over here, hoping that eventually this is going to lessen up or I'm going to get a message around what to do. Here's your message. Right now, this is your message. Get creative in applying the rage as fuel to move you forward. Because otherwise, this is where you're going to be the whole time. And it's pleasant, but it's pleasant only to a certain point. And I feel like you're already bored. You're already recognizing, I don't feel like I'm making a difference or I'm getting ahead on my goals. I don't feel that I'm necessarily on purpose. I feel that I'm stalled or I'm running the engine in park. And only you can make that shift. Only you can step in and say, all right, I'm done. I'm done with that energy. I'm ready to move forward into something else. What's the deep root of this for you here in July? What deep belief, wound, or soul contract is driving this particular transformation under the surface? Interesting. 3 of Wands. I really feel like you do have this desire to expand. You have this deep need, and I feel like it started popping up for you about 3 months ago, 2 to 3 months ago, where you recognize there's so much more that I can do. There's so much more that I want to extend myself into. And yeah, I've got some fear around it. I'm not 100% sure how this is all going to look or play out on the other side of it. But I know that I know that I know that I want to at least make the attempt to go about it. And I feel that when this started to come up for you, there was bravery, there was courage, there was motivation, there was excitement around it. But that excitement has now waned a little bit because you got nervous and you were like, well, but I don't quite know exactly how to apply that energy. So I'll just stay put and stay in what I know until something breaks. Well, this is the something that's breaking. This is that deep root. There's a part of you that is afraid to take that step forward, to expand out that way because you don't have a rule book for it. I feel, guys, like this is something so new and broad for you in this lifetime. And you understand it on a spiritual level. You say, okay, like, I know there's a part of me that has done this before. Otherwise, I wouldn't be drawn to this. I have a really strong sense of the way I'd like to sort of navigate these waters. I just don't know how to get started. But there is fear for you that you're going to expand and it's not going to be in the right way. And I want to say there's no right way. And the things that you're witnessing, experiencing, receiving, observing are creating a lot of rage. That rage isn't going away until you actually do something about it. You use it to your advantage. So the 3 of Wands is coming through to say, this is I want to say a limiting belief that if I extend myself too much, I'm not going to be able to come back from that, or I'm going to be so far out that I'm going to be untouchable, unattainable, unreachable. That my rage might absorb me. You know, my rage might take me over, and so I would just rather not, and say we did. 3 of Wands says your ship has come in. Your ship has come in. You've got to be willing to say, yes, I'm ready to take that in and take that on. It's okay for me to embrace and embody this. I'm worthy and deserving of it. And yeah, there's going to be some work. There's going to be some effort to unloading that ship or to learning how to steer the ship, to be the captain of your own ship. Yeah, this is going to take some effort. It's going to take some work, but you got it. You got it. You've got the capability. Past phase, what part of you is falling away? What role, pattern, or identity has run its course? This is going to be a really interesting one. Oh, we got 2 cards. Okay. So interesting. We have the Knight of Wands and the 7 of Swords. Wow. Okay. So when we are talking about this past phase, I feel like this is somebody that you wanted to be. You stepped into this role in this energy, and you got a little nervous because you got a little burnt out. You didn't quite go all the way to the other side to find out how it was going to shift and change you. You just went to the fear place and then you backed off. And the 7 of Swords, that card of integrity, I feel like it was a matter of you feeling like, oh my God, what are other people going to be thinking about me if I'm doing this? Like, here I am, a prominent blobbity blue, and I'm coming out and I'm making a complete and total ass of myself. People must, think I'm a Looney Tune. They must think that I don't know what I'm talking about. This could hurt my business. I better stop now. This could hurt my family. I better stop now. And while I want to say, if it genuinely could have hurt them, you were in a space where you were hurting yourself, where you were making, slipshod decisions, then obviously you made the right call by stopping it before it started. But that's not what this feels like. I know the Knight of Wands can be, ferocious, can be a little pushy at times. I want to say I don't feel like this was like pushy for the wrong reasons. I feel like this was driving you to something that was really going to bring you a lot of success and a breakthrough. But you stopped it before it started because you were worried about how you were going to be perceived by others. And we all get into this space, Taurus. We all get into that fear and that worry of judgment. What are people going to think on the other side of it? So I'm not judging you for that. I'm not saying tisk tisk. What I would say here is when we are talking about the past phase or identity, this is what you are allowed to release yourself from. This is what you can learn from. You can say, okay, this was a limiting belief that I had, that other people were going to judge what it was that I was doing. And I did not give myself permission to get to the other side of it, to see the fruits of my labor, to see the growth, to actually have the breakthrough moment happen. I stopped it before I got there. Here's the good news. You don't have to start from scratch in order to be able to get to the other side of this. Because you already did some of the work, you can start at the level that you were and be able to move on from there. So yeah, it's still going to be work. It's still going to be effort. You're still going to really have to, I want to say, open yourself into this is really uncomfortable and I really don't want to have to be here doing this. And I also know that on the other side of it is where I'm supposed to be. So I don't feel like this is hurting you. It's not a detrimental situation for you. It's more of a deeply uncomfortable situation because it's something that your soul wants you to break through and break free from. And that's really what this is speaking to, lending itself to from that perspective. This is going to be, like I said at the beginning, don't let anyone rain on your parade. And that also includes you. Don't rain on your own parade. Don't stop yourself from the breakthrough that is available to you, because the breakthrough ultimately is what you want. It's going to get you to where it is that you want to be. And it's just going to happen fast. And you don't always like that. You don't always like that feeling of being out of control. But I want to say this is Source taking you for the ride. It might be the Concorde plane, the stealth plane. It might take you a lot faster than you need to. You might feel a little whiplash. You might have a little motion sickness around it, but on the other side of it, you're there. You don't have to do any extra work to get there anymore. You're there. And now you can move on to the next level and the next stage. Highest potential. This is your Phoenix possibility. What can rise from the ashes? What is your soul calling you toward? And speaking of breakthrough energy, this is the breakthrough energy. Look, you got the Ace of Cups. It's initiation. When you allow yourself to get on the other side of this Knight of Wands, and you're not worried so much about what everybody else is thinking, you are initiating yourself into that new level and phase and stage. And I can't help but notice in this depiction, the woman is green. And it makes me think of like Green Man, right? The Green Man. There's a shamanic component to this. There's a deep inner wisdom and knowing, getting to know yourself, connecting with Mother Earth, connecting with your roots, so that those roots support you so deeply that no matter what it is you decide to do, it's going to be successful. Your love cup is going to be full and overflowing. For those of you who are interested in relationship, or you're in a love relationship or romantic partnership right now, this card coming through, I feel also is speaking to a deepening of being seen and heard, and a deepening of seeing another person and hearing the other person in a deeper way than you have before. This is the potential for stronger bonds. I want to say a stronger leaning in to the situation and into the relationship. But overall, when we talk about that highest potential, I feel like this is you opening yourself to more love in relation to the choices you make in your life. Love is the fuel, right? Love as frequency, not as feeling, is the fuel of source energy. It is what drives us, what gets us going. And I feel like this is your invitation this month, is to deepen your ability, your capacity to use that love frequency to actually do the breakthrough and get to where it is that you want to be. Again, you've been in that Knight of Pentacles for too long. It's nice to have a rest every once in a while. It's nice to take a break and to stop and smell the roses. I mean, that's a big, important part of life too. But after a while, it gets boring. You need to expand. It's going to happen whether you want it to or not. So you might as well embrace it in a way that you choose so that you can embody this. And there will be initiation. And if you allow it to break you through to the other side, it's going to be an absolutely beautiful initiation. You are supported. You have the resource. You have the backing of Mother Earth. Nothing can happen to you that is negative when you have the backing of Mother Earth and the support of all of her resources. Wow, that's just huge. Okay, your next step. What's just around the corner? What energy or experience is coming in to support your next phase? King of Cups. Interesting. So you're moving out of the tangibility and you're now moving into the, I have these thoughts, how do they become things? You're being invited, you're being called to step into the building of a new chapter, in essence. We've already seen that. You've been bored, you've been ready for something new and different, you just didn't know how to do it. Cups is how you're going to do it. Your spidey senses and how you are feeling about the expansion that you're making, how you're feeling about the plan that is being enacted. King of Cups is very confident. He's a healer. He's not worried about what's next to come because he knows that he's got everything that he needs right here to resolve anything that comes up and comes through for him. And it's fascinating to me that you have a King of Cups and the Ace of Cups back to back, right? The ending of a cycle and the beginning of another cycle. And it's all heart related. It's all an expansion of the heart space. You already are a heart-based person. You already have a lot of that heart-driven, heart-motivated energy. Now it's time to just bring that more to the surface. Get out of your head a little bit. Bring it more to the surface. Allow your beautiful ideas and that breakthrough to shine through the heart space. You are a master. You just have to uncover the mastery. You know, it's been lying dormant for a little while. And this is now just going into more of what you know through experience. And it will unlock itself through new experience. And that's 100% what this is all about. Oh, no, this is, that's right. I'm getting it mixed up because there were two card pulls there. All right, what's next? Your role. You in this process. How are you navigating this transformation? Are you resisting, flowing, grieving, or boldly rising? Let's see what one stands out here to me. Oh, again, we've got two. So you've got the Chariot and now the Two of Wands. How interesting. And it's kind of next to the Three of Wands right now. Okay. So when we are talking about your role in this, the Chariot is, remember I mentioned like lighting a fire under the Knight of Coins ass? That's what the Chariot is. That's the role that you're playing with yourself is I'm not going to allow myself to procrastinate. I'm not going to allow myself to be distracted by things in my schedule or people calling me up in the middle of the day. And, you know, I slotted this time to actually get some headway, you know, on the book that I've been wanting to write for 2 years. And now my friend's reaching out to say, you know, hey, why don't we go for lunch? Yeah, lunch sounds really fun and interesting, but this is what takes precedence because the more I delay, the more I burn that fire. Because here's the thing, you know, you can light a fire under the ass of the knight and there's movement. And you definitely want that. Even if you just use a little spark and it doesn't work and it doesn't move the knight, that spark has still used energy. And it's energy that's still kind of burning. Even if it's just smoldering, it's still putting out energy. And that is energy that's going on in your head and in your heart. It's taking up space, whether you're aware of it or not. And it's going to continue to drain you. So the Chariot, you in this role, your role is to make this movement forward and use your willpower to do it. Because yeah, you are dealing with, I want to say the two warring parties within your body, right? Like we all have the divine masculine and feminine that, oftentimes they work in synergy with each other, but every once in a while there's a clash. And, one is fighting for dominance over the other. And the Two of Wands is, what direction do I choose? Because at the end of the day, it's my choice. No one else is going to come in here and give me shit or tell me, no, you can't go for that lunch with your friend. You've got this and this to do. No, this is on you. You get to determine and decide what direction you want to take. You're in charge of the fuel. And just know that if you continue to choose distraction, you're not going to get very far in where it is you want to go, and you're not going to have anyone else to blame. And not that it's like a blame shame thing, but you're going to get to a point where, damn, I could have been doing that, but instead I was doing this over here and I missed the boat. And now I can see, I would have been so much further ahead if only I had just stuck to my guns and moved ahead when I know I need it, when I knew that I needed to do it. So you've got to be your own, I want to say, regulator in this regard, because the Two of Wands is providing you with an opportunity, but that opportunity isn't going to be there forever, is what I want to say. It's not going to be there forever. Other people are going to be tapping into it as well. So I really feel a sense of urgency, a sense of momentum, not for any other reason than for your own growth, your own peace of mind, your own satisfaction in yourself, feeling good about yourself, your self-esteem, what you're kind of here to do. That feels huge. And I feel like you would just be letting yourself down if you ignored that. Circles of support. Who or what is influencing your transformation right now? And is it positive or negative? Yeah, death is coming through. Death has been coming to the door for a long time, which is why you've been feeling the rage. But you've been pushing death to the side, or you've been witnessing it and literally feeling helpless to do anything about it. Not quite sure why all of it is coming up and coming through now. But when death comes through, it is change. It's a recognition that there is something new coming into the mix, and you can try to prolong it. You can try to ignore it, but at the end of the day, it's still here. And what I love about this particular depiction in this death card is it's like a celebration. We see all of these beautiful colors, all of the ribbons that are coming up and coming through. And there's snow. Snow is purity. Snow indicates a fresh start. Being able to listen to your own heart, tuning out the noise, dampening the static out in the world, to be able to really sink your teeth into what is here now. What does my heart want? What changes are coming my way to help me to have better experience, to ease my passage into the next phase or change or shift? So when we are talking about support systems, I feel like the change is here to support you. And it's important for you to look at it as such, to speak to it in that way, to understand that the death doesn't need to be scary. The death isn't here to cause me harm. The death is actually here to give me a gift. Don't rain on my parade. Here's your parade. There's snow here, not rain. So don't you bring rain to the party and get rid of all that snow, because this is the opportunity for you to really hear yourself, to hear your heart space, and to be able to say, I've got you. Let's do this together. Ooh, loving that. All right, hopes and fears. What are you dreaming of becoming, and what scares you about actually doing it? I feel like this card is going to be the crux of the whole reading. 10 of Wands. Yeah. You want to be seen as the person who can see all and do all and have all and be all things to all people. And how many times have you put your needs to the side, sacrificed what it is that you really want in the attempt to put somebody else first. And, as a concept, that's not bad. It's not about being selfish. But when you're doing it all the time to the detriment of your own needs, wants, and desires, to the detriment of your own growth and evolution, then it becomes burdensome. And I feel like that's exactly what this is about. I want to say, Tauruses, you're actually afraid to speak your truth in this situation. You're afraid to say exactly what it is that you need because you're afraid that you're going to be judged. And I keep hearing for a lot of you, there's abandonment stuff that's coming up. She's in the snow here as well. She's afraid that she's going to have to be she had someone that was supposed to come and help, and that person didn't show up. And she ended up being left in the lurch. And now it's cold. She's in the snow. She's an older woman. She really could use some help. And now she only wants to take one trip. She's only got time or energy for the one trip. But these are the supplies that she needs. This, I feel, is fundamentally what you're afraid of. I'm afraid to let go of this over here because I'm afraid that if I let this go, there's nothing that's going to be better than that coming my way. And so I'd rather settle for the no-name brand stale potato chips than to have the, the wine ones, the nice thick cut made from real potatoes, all the fun VIP spices. That's what you really want. But there's that part of you that's like, but if I let this go, I don't know if this other thing is even going to be a possibility for me. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's what death is bringing to you, is saying the change is coming and it's going to be a celebration if you allow it. But otherwise, you're just putting yourself in that burdened space, never receiving the rewards, always being in that burdened space and afraid to start something new. Not fully aware or not fully accepting that 10s are new beginnings based on an already established foundation. It's not like I have to start from scratch. I'm starting from where I'm at right now. And it's okay for me, even as the older woman, to want something better for myself than to have to lug all these hard, 10 freaking logs for my fire for the week. There's got to be something better than this for me. And it's okay for me to want that. And it's okay for me to say, I'm going to put these down and I'm going to walk to the neighbor's house and ask them to give me a ride. Ask them to, pick this stuff up for me, whatever it happens to be. This is really the straw for you. This is what holds you back. The fear of abandonment, the fear of being alone, the fear of not having anything better than what you've got now. And I'm not saying that what you've got now sucks, but I want to say to you, I feel like a lot of you, there's a settlement that's happening here. You're not fully feeling alive in whatever this situation is that we're talking about, whether it's a relationship, a work situation, a volunteer situation, a relationship with your kids. You're not quite where you want it to be. And it's about you saying, okay, it's all right for me to want something more, something new and something different. That's okay. What is your highest and best outcome if you stay on course? Who will you be on the other side of this journey? And what is the result of embracing the full cycle of death and rebirth? The moon. Intuition. The mystery of things. Look, she's not alone. Not only does she have one, but she's got two companions. She has the clarity. She has the knowing. She has the wisdom. She can see at night. She can see in the sunlight too. She can do her things during the day. But isn't it more miraculous to be able to also see at night? And I feel like for you, that's what this is bringing, is the ability to see into the mystery and to be able to say, I like that. Let me lean into that. And I don't have to have fear about it because I've already recognized that there were illusions that I was hanging on to that were keeping me stuck, keeping me from knowing true companionship, from knowing true love, from being able to take that calculated risk and get beyond the mystery of the mystery. to discover who I am on the other side of this. I feel like this is also for you Taurian star seeds. This is a big message too. I feel like the star seed in you is being activated through this as well. So don't be surprised if at the end of July, going into August, you start to really feel a calling to more of your spiritual practices, and that you feel less and less like you want to cater to some of the drama, the nonsense and shenaniganery that humanity can bring. I feel that's going to be a big change in all of this too. Wow, my guys. Oh my goodness. So that is our reading for Taurus. This is your transformational tarot, and what a transformation it is going to be. If you guys need any kind of support, help, or assistance through this process, because it's going to be a big month. For some of you, I don't know if you know, but I do private sessions and private readings. I would be so happy to help you through any aspect of these transformations that you're going through. So feel free to click on the link below and book a session with me. That's what I'm here for. And otherwise, I hope you guys have the most incredible, the most amazing month, and we will see you on the flip side.